Hey, everybody. Welcome to Taco Tuesday. It is October 1st. Welcome to October. October is one of my most favorite months, not only because it's my and some of your birthday month, and I think we should celebrate birthdays all month long, but also because it's one of the biggest selling months of the year. In fact, it's often the biggest selling month of the year, right? Plus, I mean, you guys feel like the energy and the excitement in your businesses. Some of you had such epic Septembers, and that momentum from the work that you've done just carries on. Okay, if you had a bad month, I will tell you this: it's a new beginning, it's a new opportunity, and you control the narrative for what you do in your business this month. You have 100% control over how you work, when you work, what you do, all the things. So there is never an excuse for not making what you want a reality, because it's all in your hands. I'm going to make a couple of you co-hosts because I just realized I didn't do that. We aren't having storms or anything, but sometimes my Wi-Fi not so good. All right, I made a few of you co-hosts. All right, so as I said in the beginning, on the Scent Warriors page, in the leadership pages today, I dropped this monthly planning sheet. You're going to need a couple things tonight. And also Natasha dropped it in the chat, okay? So if you printed it, that's great. If you don't have access to a printer or anything, you can just pull up the picture. But I'm also going to recommend you have at least one, probably two pieces of paper. And if you are like a calendar person, you're going to want to grab your calendar. If you're a digital, if you're a physical calendar person, go grab your calendar. If you're a digital person, that's fine. Make sure you have your digital device, which I'm pretty sure most of you don't let your phone go more than like 2 feet from you, right? Am I right? Okay. All right. While you're doing that, I want everyone to drop in the chat one thing that was a win for you in September. One thing that was a win for you in September. It can be in your business, it can be in your life, it can be anything. Anything. Okay. We celebrate all wins. Doesn't matter how big they are, doesn't matter how small they are. It's not a comparison to anyone else here. Whatever's a win for you. Love it. Okay. Excellent. 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 Love it, you guys. So good. Okay. Also, if I made you a co-host, will you let people in? Because sometimes I get on a roll talking and I forget to let people in. So perfect. Highest GWV ever, confirmation of a big fundraiser, hitting 2 months of director numbers, sold more scent crates than last month, harvest bags, 400 PRV, paid at rank and title for the second month in a row. So many good things in the chat. Promoted to lead, made my bed 4 times in a row. Okay, friends, I don't know how you get into bed in an unmade bed. I'm just saying that's something I cannot do. I cannot get into bed in an unmade bed. It has to be made. But I also read that book quite a while ago, and I love that book too. Make Your Bed. So good. Also, for those of you who are wondering, no, I don't usually drink $1 million Fiji water. I drink it when I also have regular non-Fiji water. I drink Fiji water when I need a reminder that I'm crushing goals towards an incentive, or when I'm having a bad day and I need a reminder that I went on an incentive trip to Fiji. Steve and I intentionally keep Fiji water in the house because guess what kind of water they had when we were in Fiji? Shocking, Fiji water. So, okay. But I had someone say to me, do you like drink $5 water all the time? No, I don't actually. Not all the time. Okay. So you have your calendar, you have, or however you keep track of things, you have this sheet. I can also put up on the screen. Does anyone want me to put it up on the screen? Raise your hand if you want up on the screen. No? No? Okay. All right. Hold on. I should go to the second screen. Okay. And you're going to have a couple pieces of paper and a pen. Here's what we're going to do tonight. We are going to plan and plot our October. I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of how I do it. I'm going to give you some suggestions, but this is for you. So basically, we're going to figure out how to plan out your October and maximize the opportunity. We're also going to talk, because I know some of you are going to tell me through this process that you need more customers. So at the end, we're going to share, I'm going to do a little exercise with you on how to widen your social circle, how to widen, and not just your social circle, but your in-person circle too. So, but we're going to start with some metrics. Okay. Well, that's a lie. We're not going to start with some metrics. I warned you, I'm tired and all over the place. We're going to start with World Tour. I want you all to understand that World Tour registration opens this month. I think it's the 10th. Is that right, friends? 10th. Okay. The 10th. Locations are while supplies last. Cameron knows Denver sold out super early last year, didn't it? Super early, right? Those locations are while supplies last. Why is this important? It's important that you're prepared and ready to register on the 10th when registration opens. Okay. Why? Why do you not want to miss registration? A couple of reasons. Number one, because World Tour is epic, right? That's number one. But number two, it is the qualifier for this month for the 20-year Sensi incentive, registering for World Tour. You can't register for a location that's sold out, friends. Okay. So make sure that you are prepared and ready to register on the 10th. I am planning to register for Denver because that's my home location. I'm also thinking, I haven't talked to Steve about it yet because like we've connected for like 2 hours in the last few days because he's been driving cross country back with my mom's stuff. So I'm thinking I will probably register for Charlotte if we have 150 attendees to the Charlotte location, which should not be hard for our organization to accomplish because we have thousands of people in the Carolinas, right? In that region and that radius. Should not be hard to accomplish. I'm also thinking I will register for, wait for it, here's where we're going to have a little battle, Atlanta or Baton Rouge. They're the same day. So we're going to toss this out that this is a little battle here to who is going to get more people registered, because that is, Karen's going to register for both of them if it allows me, because it has allowed me to do that in the past, but I can't be in two cities. I am not Heidi Norville. I do not have a private jet that I can start the day at one location and end the day at the other like they do, right? So whichever location has more people is the location I will end up at. So it is on, friends. It is on. Also, I will probably not choose a location that other week unless it's Phoenix. And that's purely selfish because I like Phoenix. So, and we have team going that we also have team in Phoenix. So, okay. So that is my World Tour plans. The way the schedule lays out this year is very similar to how they did it many years ago, where it is just a boom, 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 like 10 days, spread out. It's not every weekend like they've done the last couple of years. It is spread out weekdays, et cetera, et cetera. So when you tell me you can't take time off work during the week to attend a location, I'm going to tell you this. It is in February, friends, and it is October 1st. You have plenty of time to make arrangements in your schedule, to make plans to travel, or to get time off work, to find a babysitter, to do all the logistic things you need to attend in February. I promise you, you can make it happen. Okay. If it's important to you, we do what's important to us, right? Okay. Yeah, Kelly, Columbus, and I don't even know if it's at the convention center. I don't know if they said that this year or not. Oh, Kelly, I will be in Denver. Mine will not be selling out. I'm just telling you before I get registered, because I'm the only superstar director in Colorado. So that does mean that usually falls on me to coordinate. I'm just saying. So, okay. All right, friends. That's number one. So I want you to get out your phones or your calendar right now. And I want you to put October 10th, open it to October 10th or pull it out. And I want you to put World Tour registration, because this is a priority. Like, we are Barney style going to walk through your month of October right now. Okay. Because that's an important date not to forget. Do you think that there's any coincidence it happens to be like right around payday that they open registration? Don't think so. Okay. All right. So remember that commission that you receive on the 10th, 9th, but 10th is the official payday, right? That commission that you receive, that is the income that your business has made for the month. Of that, you pay yourself, you put back money for taxes, and you pay your business expenses for the month. World Tour is a business expense, friends. Okay. No, there is not usually a payment plan, I don't think, for World Tour. Is there? Someone tell me, is there ever a payment plan for World Tour? No, I see shaking heads. No. Okay. No payment plan. Did I read correctly that it's $80? And like, well, how much is a guest? 35, 35, 40, 40 for a guest. Okay. Perfect. Melanie, unlikely that I'm coming to Dallas. Very unlikely. Let's see. All right. Let me see if there's any. Oh yeah. So drop in the chat while you're doing this, what location you're going to. Some of you already had, but let's just get one stream of them. All right. Also, put Natasha turns 32 on October 10th. If we're doing that, we should put Karen's birthday, which is October 8th. I will turn 21 again. Interesting, because I have a 27-year-old child. Probably unlikely that I turn 21 again. I'm just saying. Okay. Yes. All right. So the challenge is on for you to get your people registered for this, because I really want to come to these locations. But I feel like there's got to be a little buy-in. Okay. Yes. So also put Kelly's birthday is the 18th. Anyone else? Oh, yes. Dawn's is tomorrow. Okay. You could also fit. Oh, let's see. Okay. And the 21st, we got lots of birthdays this month. It's a really good month for birthdays. All right. Okay. Then I want to make sure that you are making showing up for our community events a priority this month. So if you're a leader, make sure that you've filled in leaders lounges. Now, if you're a digital person, maybe you just want to set an alarm for Monday nights. Maybe set it for 8:45 Eastern time to go off every Monday night, except the 14th is a federal holiday, so we will not be having Leaders Lounge, just so you know. Taco Tuesdays, maybe you want to set an alarm for Tuesdays. We've got some really good trainings this month coming up. We're going to talk next week. I will not be on because it's my birthday, but there's going to be a panel next week on events, right? That's what we decided, events, friends. Yes, we decided. And Natasha's going to facilitate it, and we have other leaders who are going to be talking and sharing their experience with events. Okay. And then Work It Wednesday is where you show up to idea share. It's where you show up to ask the questions you have. And it's where you show up to figure out how you are going to actually implement this plan we're going to come through. So tomorrow night is where you're going to show back up with this plan, and we're going to, okay, I need some more PRV. So how am I going to get that? That kind of thing. Okay. So make sure that you have set alarms for that or put that in your phone, because those should be priorities. Building community is really good for your business, idea sharing, all those things. All right. Those who show up, go up. All right. Then I would encourage you, you don't have to do this right now because this is way too time intensive, but I would encourage you to make working your business a priority this month. Like, I know some of you have massive goals, and I'm going to have you drop some of them in the chat. But if you don't schedule time to work your business like 5 days a week, and I'm not saying you have to show up for 5 hours 5 days a week, right? I'm not saying you have to show up for 12 hours 5 days a week. Even if it's 30 minutes or an hour, your time commitment has to match your goals, right? You can't say, I want to sell $15,000 this month, and then say you're going to show up for 15 minutes 3 times this month. That's just doesn't equate, right? That's not going to work. But you make sure that sometime in the next 24 hours, you are blocking out some time to work your business. Also, make sure you're blocking off time for family, for the important things you have going on this month, for personal development, for all the things, right? But if you don't block out the time, sometimes it's really easy to not get it done. All right. Okay. And I mean, I don't think anyone should work 7 days a week on their business. I think that it is important that we have family time, personal time, all the things. Okay. Now, if you're going to show up for 5 minutes, maybe you're showing up for 5 minutes, 7 days a week, right? Because that's only 35 minutes. But if you're putting in a good chunk of time elsewhere, then it's very reasonable to take blocks and days off, right? Because quite honestly, what kind of example do you set if I'm saying this specifically to our leaders, if you're working your business 7 days a week and you are working your business excessively, why would anyone want to be you? That does not look fun. That does not look relatable. That does not look enjoyable. We do this for our families. Leaders Lounge is for star consultants and above. Okay. We do this for to add value to us and to our families. And so if it's not, we need to reevaluate what we're doing. All right. Okay. So that is what needs to go in your calendar. Okay. I'd also encourage you, for those of you that are partiers, or if you have events this month, or if you have fundraisers, make sure that you have blocked that kind of stuff in as well. Okay. Because if it's not all in front of you, you will forget. Sometimes you'll overbook. I'm notorious for overbooking Zooms, not my evening Zooms, but like being like, oh yeah, I can Zoom at like, oh, I can Zoom at 11 o'clock Tuesday. Oh crud, I already have 3 other Zooms at 11 o'clock Tuesday. Okay, so I'm notorious for that. All right, now we're gonna pivot to this. Now, I don't care if you use this sheet. I don't care if you have your own version. I just care that you capture some data somewhere. This sheet was created for our Scentsy. Actually, I don't even know who created it. Carol dropped it in our Scentsy Basic Training Program in, was that April, you guys? April, May? I don't even know what month that was. It spring. And the idea was to plan your month, okay? I don't care that you specifically use this form, but this form does list some important data, okay? I also don't care if you capture every single thing on this form. There are some metrics that are not on here that I think are important. What's important is that you figure out what matters to you, and that's what you're tracking, and that's what you're goal setting, okay? So when I share some of these things with you, if they're not relevant to you, there's a couple exceptions where you're going to tell me things don't matter, and I'm going to argue with you that they do, and I'll tell you what they are when we go through them. But if I'm saying track your followers and you're like, dude, I'm not even on social, then don't track your followers. I don't care. Okay. But if you're trying to grow a personal brand in social media, track your followers. All right. So, okay. So at the top of this sheet, or whatever sheet you're using, I want you to capture some data that it doesn't ask for. And I do 2 things, and I'm going to tell you why. You might not want to do both of these. And those of you that are new, this will not be relevant to you. I like to compare year over year and month over month. Now, what does that mean? I want to compare this October to last October. I also am a little competitive, and I like to beat my previous month. So I like to compare October to September. Okay. So at the top of mine, I fill in on this side would be last year, and this would be last month. And I fill in things like, what was my PRV? How many recruits did I have last year? What was my PRV? That would be last October. What was my PRV? How many recruits? In fact, I haven't done this yet. I'm going to pull and tell you how many recruits I had last October. I know I had, it might be a scary number, friends. I might have something really significant up to work against. Let me see. I'll tell you. I think I had 29 or 30 recruits last September. So let me see what I had last October. Oh, phew, I only had 7. Okay, thank the Lord. I can beat 7. Last September, I had 30 recruits. And last August, I had 29. Those were hard numbers to beat, friends. Okay. And actually, I failed last month. I did not beat that. But, and then I like to track followers. So my followers I track are my followers on my social platforms. Okay. And you could track it individually. You can combine the metrics, whatever works for you. I like to track how many clubbers I had last year for October, that's how many subscriptions ran, right? And how many clubbers I had last month, because I'm always wanting to add more clubbers. Clubbers is something that's important to me. And then I like to track two other things. One of them, because I need, well, there's a couple things I like to. I like to track how many parties I had, and in that parties category, I would also put like fundraisers, events, whatever you would classify as a PRV event. Okay. And then I like to know how many new customers I have, because here's where we get complacent in our business. We get complacent in our business when we aren't adding new customers to our business. When we wonder why we don't have any growth in our business, we don't have a growth strategy. The growth strategy is how many new customers are we bringing in? How many new people, followers are you bringing in? How many new customers ordered from you last month or last year? How many new customers, how many new, if you have a VIP group, how many new, I don't care how many people are in your VIP group. I care how many new people joined your VIP group, because that's really a metric of what you're doing with your business. Does that make sense? Am I losing anyone? Tell me if I'm losing you. Okay. So let's see. All right. Okay. So, because if we aren't growing in our business, like our business, like Mary Christensen says, like the day you start, do you guys know who Mary Christensen is? Some of you might not even know who Mary Christensen is. So she was kind of one of the old school original direct selling experts. She's from New Zealand, although everyone thinks she's an Aussie. And she would say, she worked for Scentsy for a while actually, but she would say, I don't think I can do it with her accent, especially on recording. The moment that you stop adding people to your organization and recruiting, the minute you start sliding backwards. And it's true. Like we are, the success and the trajectory of our business is based on what we're adding to it. There is, like, we are very lucky. We have a consumable product. Yes. We have a product that people need to buy more of, but there's also a lifetime value of a customer. Like your customers, now I could argue this with the number of warmers my mom had at her house, but in theory, your customer only needs so many warmers. They might still need wax or pods or whatever, right? But they only need so many warmers, right? And maybe they'll buy a new holiday one or a new seasonal one, but they only need so many air purifiers. They only need so many Scentsy airs, right? So you always want to be bringing in new customers. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's an important metric. And I think it's one of the metrics that people, when I say metrics, things that you can measure. Okay. I think it's one of the things that people don't measure. And then they wonder why their business is stagnant or why they're not having growth or why they're not meeting their goals. But they literally have no idea if they've added any new customers in the past 6 months. And when we look at these numbers, it's not a judgment zone. It's not a, oh my word, my business sucks. I didn't add any customers. It's real honest evaluation so we can figure out what we need to change. So we can figure out what we need to do to move to where we want to be. Because if we don't know, we don't know, we don't know. So if we don't know, we can't change and grow. Okay. So it is never an attack on you or something to feel bad about. It's just facts. It's just honest, raw data. All right. So I would encourage you over the next 24 hours to fill in the data. If you have been around a year, what was the data for last year? And if you were around last month and you didn't join today, what was the data from last year and last month, so that you have a comparison. Okay. And then we're going to fill out this section here that says goals. Okay. And again, there's a few things that aren't on here that I think are important, but for the most part, this sheet is pretty good. Okay. And again, only track things that are relevant to you. So in the chat, because this is some data you can give me right now without having to go to your workstation and look it up, I want you to tell me what your PRV goal is for October. What's your goal? And if you didn't figure out, this is an interactive workshop tonight. Okay. This is not just a I'm speaking to you training. You have to do some work. I love it. Oh, Susan Hickson entered the chat. Can I tell you guys a really funny story really quick? Oh, Natasha's on here. So we have a team member named Susan Hicks. That's also my mom's name, Susan Hicks. Strange name, right? To have a team member and my mom name that. So my mom says to me last night, yeah, April and Natasha are on here. My mom says to me last night, do you know April? And I said, yeah, why? I said, oh, did she send you something with her monkeys? She's like, no, I'm in this really weird group chat. I was like, oh, she's like, and they're talking about all these weird things about how they're going to slay their new month and whatever. So they added the wrong Susan Hicks to their chat. They added my mom to their messenger chat. And my mom is like, why are they talking about these things? It was really entertaining. And then anyway, so that was my little funny story. So I was like, hey ladies, I think you added the wrong Susan Hicks to the chat. But turns out they each added a Susan Hicks. So they didn't realize they'd added my mom too. So, all right. So I see some really good PRV goals. Now I want to ask you a question about those PRV goals. Ooh, I saw an 8,000 PRV goal. 5,000. I saw some really amazing goals. Now, if your goal is, if you normally sell 200 and your goal is 500, that might be a puke goal for you, right? If you normally sell 200 and you or 2,000 and you put 2,000, that is not a puke goal for you. Puke, that was puke, like bleh, right? So my question to you all is, did the goal that you put in the chat for your PRV, are you comfortable with it or did it make you a little squirmy? Because if it didn't make you a little squirmy, it's not going to stretch you. And this is October, and this is a month to stretch. Like 70%, I haven't done the math on this in quite a while, but it used to be like 70% of our organization's volume came in the fall selling months, like the September, October, November months. I don't know if that's still true, but if you are resting your goal on the laurels of what you do in June, you are missing the boat because this is October, friends, and this is a month for big, big things. Okay. All right. So if you put a goal in the chat and it doesn't make you a little sick to your stomach, I'm going to challenge you maybe to drop another goal in the chat. Okay. I'm just saying. Jan, that includes you. Jan shaking her head no. Okay. All right. If that goal made you a little sick to your stomach, that's good. Okay. All right. Natasha, did you not realize that was my mom that you guys added? She's not even listening. You did. Okay. All right. Squirmy. Okay, good. I like the fact that you're feeling a little squirmy. I was at Swirl, the SSD retreat that I do a couple weeks ago. I don't even know. I guess that was a week. I don't know, maybe a week ago. And we had Josh Coates there, and he made us go around the room and share our goals. And I realized that the goal that I've been aiming for didn't even make me squirmy. And so then I came up with a big, huge, lofty income goal. And I realized it just made my skin a little crawlish. And then I doubled it and it made me want to puke. And then I knew I was where I needed to be for an annual goal. So just so you know, I do this too. Because we aren't made to live small, friends. We are not made to live small and we are not made to settle. Okay. All right. Oh, I saw someone go big at 10K. That's insane. And I'm here for it. Excellent. Okay. All right. So under that goals category, you're going to see other things like parties or bookings. Now, when you see that category, if you aren't like a home party girl or guy, or you're not an online party, I want you to consider that category scent events. So that would be fundraisers. That would be like, I would consider if you do scent crates, that would be one scent event, right? If you are doing boo bags, I would consider that one scent event. If you do fundraisers, that's a scent event. If you are doing a buddy drive, that's a scent event. But like, figure out how many parties, bookings, scent events you're going to do. And that's what's going to go in that blank. How many new frontline are you going to sponsor? We have a $40 join kit again, and it's pretty dang good. It's holiday themed. They get like, I think a red, green, and someone tell me what other color light bulb it is. What is it? Blue? I don't remember what the blue. Okay. Yeah. With a white mini warmer, They get a fragrance flower, they get catalogs, they get testers, it's a pretty dang good kit for $40. We also have the host exclusive kit. Okay. This is the season to grow your frontline. This is the season, not just because you're trying to earn incentive trip points, although I hear you on that one, but this is the season where people who have been considering joining, join, and they can sell to an audience of people wanting to buy holiday gifts. It helps launch their business in the best possible season. Okay. All right. So I want you to tell me, what is your sponsoring goal? How many new frontline are you going to sponsor? And do not tell me in the chat, I want to. This is and don't say like 10 to 15 or 1 to 2. You need a specific number. Now, don't let goals scare you, friends. Number one, if your goal is too low, we can up it. But if you aim too high and you don't hit it, you're probably still going to hit something a lot higher than if you hadn't set a goal to start with, right? So say your goal is 5. If you didn't have a goal, you maybe would sponsor 1 person. But what if you only sponsor 3? Do you think that's a failure if your goal was 5? No, that's 3 new people you've brought into this business and helped them have something for themselves. And that's probably more than you would have if you hadn't set the goal. Okay. I love it. Was 4, but 6 makes me puke. Good. Awesome. Don't tell your new recruits so that it made you puke. That's probably not the best strategy, right? Okay. All right. Now, I also want you to commit that if you are bringing people into the business in October, you are helping them launch their business in October. And that will take a spot on your calendar. Okay. You don't have to fill that in now because you don't know what day they're going to join. But I want you to make a commitment that if you're bringing someone into this business in October, you are going to help them launch their business in October. Because even if they're a hobbyist, we want to help people make as much holiday money as possible. If you say that to them, say, I know you're doing this because you want the discount, but I want to help you earn as much holiday money as possible. People don't say no to that, friends. People don't say no to that. Okay. All right. All right. So then you've got other things. Some of you, this will be applicable for, some of you, it won't. Active frontline. Those are the people under you who have 200 PRV for the month. And if you are looking to promote, that's probably an important number. Okay. You've got TWV. If you have a team, you know what TWV is. That's a team wholesale volume. If you are trying to promote, that's also an important number. GWV, that for most of you is the same. TWV and GWV is the same. That varies if you're a director with directors under you. Okay. Other things that are critically important to figure out: how many new customers are you going to add to your business this month? And I'd love you to tell me in the chat, how many new customers are you going to add to your business this month? And then put it on your sheet. I love it. I was like, Melanie, was that a typo? No, that was not a typo because Melanie's at the state fair. So Melanie can say 250 because that's a really realistic number for her at the fair. Now, yes, 50. Yes. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are doing fundraisers or vendor events and you've put the number 5 in the chat, you are aiming way too low, because you are interacting with way more people than that in a fundraiser or a vendor event. Okay. I love it. Okay, perfect. All right. Other things that I measure that might be important to you: clubbers. How many new clubbers are you going to add? If you're brand new and you don't know what a clubber is, that's someone who joined Scentsy Club. If you don't know what Scentsy Club is, ask your sponsor what Scentsy Club is. It is, the dog wants in, of course. One moment, please. Now you'll get to see my workout clothes that I put on so that I could, remember to work out. Grace. Okay. All right. Other things that I think are important for me, which may or may not be for you. As I said before, if you have a VIP page, how many people are you going to add to your VIP page? Okay. Some of you don't have VIP pages. That's okay. That's not an important figure for you. How many followers on social media? Is that important to you? If so, write it down. Drop in the chat how many followers you're going to, and again, I realize this might not be relevant for all of you. How many new followers do you want to follow you on social media in October? Emily just got a new club or a new teamie right now. Emily, I think your recruiting goal just went up by 1. Love it. Okay. All right. And then any other metric that's important to you. Maybe you want to track how many ounces of, you're going to commit to how many steps you're going to do every day walking. Maybe that's important to you. For those of you who don't know, we do have what's it called? Step Up. Someone tell me what's it called? The Step Up app that we have. We track steps. Maybe some of you want to commit to, maybe some of you are doing 75 hard. Maybe some of you want to commit to 15 minutes of personal development each day. That might be something you want to commit to. Maybe you want to commit to drinking a certain number of ounces of water. Maybe you want to commit to I need to commit to this, a certain number of hours of sleep a night, right? Whatever your goals are for October, that's what you want to write down here. Okay. All right. Oh, I love that. You're going to lose 12 pounds this month. I love that. I love it. Okay. All right. So that's what is going to go in this goal section. Now, the question is, how are you going to reach those goals? And so we've got some other sections in here. And I thought they were really self-explanatory until I got people who turned them in during the basic training, and I realized they weren't self-explanatory. So I'm going to walk you through them. I'm going to actually see if I can pull it up on my screen. Just a second. Guys, I used ChatGPT today. How about that? Okay. Let's see if I can pull this up on my screen. Share. Okay. Can you guys see the monthly screen? Okay. So in this category that says hosts, I'm going to encourage you not to just do traditional hosts, but I'm going to encourage you to do like events. Like if you have an event or you have a fundraiser, you're going to list them all out there. Like the name of the fundraiser, you know, like Lyle Middle School, Lyle Elementary School. And then next to it, I would put fundraiser, right? Elgin Christian Academy fundraiser. Hilton Head Robotics Team fundraiser, right? Are you following me? So you're going to list all of that out there with the type of party. For one reason, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, so you have a good idea of whether you actually are going to be able to meet that thing, the numbers you're looking for. But also some of us kind of forget sometimes where our testers go or other things. And so if you have them all written out in one place, it's easier. Then new frontline. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. That's new team members and the date they joined. Now, some of you are going to need a whole lot more lines than the 4 that are on there. And that's fine. You can go to the back. You can create your own PRV plan. Now, this is where I saw some of you stuck on the basic training when we did the basic training. So here's where you are going to put where that PRV is going to come from. So if you said that you are going to earn 2,000 PRV, you aren't just going to put the number 2,000 in there. You're going to break it down, because if you don't know how you're going to get it, we need to figure that out. So maybe you're like Becky and you do scent crates. So maybe she would start and write in her scent crates and then how much PRV she's anticipating. Okay. And maybe she has clubbers. And so maybe you can go in and you can go to orders and then Scentsy Club, and you can figure out how many club subscribers you have running this month and what their orders are going to be, right? So you're going to anticipate that. Now, always don't ever count on the laurels of that, because sometimes someone has a card that doesn't run, they cancel their subscription, they pause, whatever. But when you have everything in here that is your plan already for the month, you can compare that to the PRV under goals and figure out where do we need to come up with the rest. Oh, I still have 2,000 PRV I have to come up with. Now I need to come up with a plan of how I'm going to get that. That's where I'm going to give you some ideas, but that's where also you show up on Work It Wednesday and you say, friends, I realized I have a lofty PRV goal and I need your help with your creative ideas of how I'm going to get it. And then we just brainstorm ideas, right? I always encourage you to over plan and to plan your month early. So you definitely want everything to front load in your month, because if people cancel early in the month, they still have time to reschedule later on, or you have time to come up with a new plan. Okay. You also have a section on here that says go for no. Who in the chat, or who can unplug, even unmute, and tell me what go for no means? Anyone?
It's when you ask somebody and they say no.
Yep. Wait, because here's the thing. We have this perception, or some people do, that if I want 5 parties, I should ask 5 people, and 5 people are going to say, yeah. Friends, that's not how it works. Or if I want 5 new frontline, I'll ask 5 people. It's a law of, the law of averages. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know. It's math, simple math. Everyone doesn't join, everyone doesn't host, and everyone doesn't buy. You have to ask for more than you want. And so this is just a fun, simple way that you can cross off every time you get a no. Because I'm telling you, if you fill all these boxes with no, you're going to get some yeses. Okay. And your business is going to be stronger. Now, when you're looking at your parties and your bookings and you're comparing last year or last month, especially last year, to what you want to accomplish this year, I'm going to encourage you to do a couple things. If you were a consultant last year, I'm going to encourage you to go back in the workstation and look at where your PRV came from last year. Okay. Was it the state fair? Did you have specific hosts? Write that stuff down, not while we're on Zoom right now, but write that stuff down, and then reach out to those people or figure out how you can utilize those resources from last year to duplicate this year. Maybe in your workstation, you have boo buckets or clean buckets, or whatever the case may be. That's a signal to you that your customers probably want the same kind of thing again this year. Okay. So look at the data that you have available at your fingertips to help you come up with your plan. Okay. Anything special you did last year? Important. And then be asking, if anyone knows what they did last October, drop it in the chat right now to help other people figure out some ideas of where your PRV came from. Otherwise, get active on the Scent Warriors page and on the leadership pages and start sharing. Last year, this is where my PRV came from, because it'll spark ideas for other people. Okay. Because we need a growth strategy. That's just the reality of it. We need a growth strategy. Now, in that notes section, this would be a place to put, like when you go back into your workstation, you're going to see that last year we had a flash sale. So maybe write the word flash sale ? I like to use that notes section to do a couple other things. I like to put what my training goals are. What do I want to learn and what do I want to do? Okay. And so I always try to learn something, do a little self-development every month. And what do I want to implement? So like, for example, I want to implement POP buys, POPBYS, for realtors this month, especially with the theme of holiday gifting. So that's one thing I want to learn. There's some things I want to learn this month, and then there's some things that I need to finally implement that I've been talking about. And you can only talk about things for so long, then you have to do them. Okay. I kind of went through some of the other metrics. Some of you might not want to track how many new frontline you're going to have, but you might want to track how many partner conversations you're going to have. For some of you, that's less intimidating. I'm going to have 30 conversations with people about joining. Okay. Some of you might want to track your incentive trip points. This is where I'm going to be by the end of the month. Okay. Some of you might want to use that notes section to talk about new ways and places to meet people. I'm going to join 3 groups. I'm going to be social on this page. I'm going to show up at the Bunko group that I joined that I haven't shown up at yet. I'm going to go to my church potluck, whatever the case may be. You might want to put that in your notes. All right. Now let's talk really briefly about some of the opportunities in October for that PRV plan. Okay. We know we have the holiday collection. It launched today. It's doing incredibly well. We probably had our best first day of October in many years. Okay. Very, very good month. We had that, Uncle Eddie's cousin, is it cousin Eddie? You guys, I've never seen, I feel like I did see National Lampoon's Vacation when I was maybe like way too young to have seen it, but I haven't seen it since then. We have National Lampoon's, we have Warner Brothers. A huge opportunity this month, and I would encourage you to share it early, is the October Whiff Box. That October Whiff Box has that limited edition Santa mini warmer and a exclusive bar of gingerbread cheesecake. Okay. I want it just for the gingerbread cheesecake. All right. I'm just telling you, I'm here for that. All right. We also have clearance. We've got a ton of stuff in clearance. If you're doing buddy drives, there's so many buddies. There's a ton of $12.50 mini warmers. There are so many opportunities in clearance right now for you to make bundles for your customers. I saw someone shared in the What Did You Share page. It might have been Yvonne, that she actually creates a Google sheet or a Google Doc, or you could do a job form or whatever, where she lists a clearance and sends it out at the end of every month as like, hey, last chance on my clearance sale, implying that it's stock, even though it's literally straight from the clearance section of the workstation. And she said, I could share the link to the clearance section, but people think they're getting something special and getting a special deal when it comes from me. And I thought that was really smart. October is a really good box for scent crates, for boo boxes, for scary sacks, for all of those things, for fundraisers, events, holiday events, fall events, county fairs, state fairs. I know you're probably not just randomly booking a state fair right now. I hear you on that, right? Because that's just not something you do on a whim. But the starting of buddy drives, it is a great month for causes, breast cancer awareness, of course, all the things. There's lots of walks right now, lots of opportunities to help people raise money. And it is not too early to start thinking about curating holiday gifts. So teacher gifts, right? All that kind of thing. Also, like, I'm doing this with some of my customers, right? I'm actually providing it for them because we can't charge for craft events. So we have all these crazy rules, but this is like $2 craft, like $2.50 craft. And I'm willing to do that for my customers to get them to show up and shop. Bingo parties, all the things. Okay. Other opportunities this month, that $40 join special. We already mentioned it. It is a hot deal. Halloween products. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Your customers might not have been ready for Halloween previously. Make sure you are going live and showing those Halloween projects. Also, as you're crafting your social strategy, Scentsy has been on it with those videos that they've created of some of the products recently. So make sure you are sharing those. Don't be dropping flyers. Nobody buys from flyers, friends. That your analytics just plummet with that. But share the real life images. Okay. We also have coming. Oh, that whiff box. Make sure you tell your customers it's not going to come in the whiff box this month because they needed a bigger box. So it's just going to come in a brown box, like a bar box, like the insert bar box. But it's worth it to get the mini warmer and that kind of thing. Also, you've got the warmer of the month, right? And as my leaders pointed out to me last night, it is perfect through Thanksgiving. Also, Friendsgiving is coming, right? Friendsgiving next month. Hostess gifts for Thanksgiving, all the kind of things. I saw Autumn Road Trip counter cleans on sale and clearance. Someone told me, and I don't know if it's gone, that there was dish soap. Was that a Scentsy Club exclusive? Someone told me that. The Friends collection is coming at some point. Bricks are coming at some point. What else? That Sugar Chalet warmer and wax bundle is coming at some point. Somebody tell me what I'm missing. I feel like I'm missing some. Oh, the curated bundles. There are lots of opportunities to create this PRV plan. Okay. But when you have a plan of where your PRV is going to come from, it's much easier and it's not as overwhelming. And then you don't have to be that person that posts on the last day of the month, I am just 499 PRV shy of my 500 PRV goal. You don't have to be that person because you've had a plan and you've worked it all month, right? And then when things don't work out according to plan, it's okay. You cross them off and you just add something new. Okay. And that's where we're here to help. All right. So, there's a couple other things that I think are important to plan for your October, and that is a social strategy. October, a social strategy. You want to make sure that you are showing up on social media. If social media is your jam, if it's not, that's fine. Why do you want to show up on social media? I'm going to stop sharing this. Why do you want to show up on social media? Friends, people buy from you. You are not Scentsy. You are you, and people buy from you. So you need to create a personal brand. Now, that is not like, let me clarify what that means. That is not like, hey, I'm selling this and I'm selling this and I'm selling this, and you should sign up for this with me and this with me. That is not that. A personal brand is why people follow you. What value do you add to them? How do you educate them, engage them, and entertain them, basically, right? So I would encourage you to create a content calendar. I am going to drop, this is from Kristen Boss. I'm going to drop in the chat 7 days of social prompts, and I will also drop them in the Scent Warriors group. Now you will notice most of these prompts are not related to your business, and that's intentional because 80% of what you should post should not be about your business unless it's your VIP group or your business page. And even there, you should be adding value, not just selling. Okay. So let me drop this in the chat for you. It just has some ideas. And the other thing you can do, because I am going to use this so that I can prove some metrics to you. You can follow. Oh, it's too long. Hold on. It's not gonna let me do it all in one. Hold on. Okay, I'll do it one day at a time. One sec. Let's delete that and we'll try it again. Okay. We'll do one day at a time. Day one. Okay. This might be too long too, actually. Copy. I bet this is too long too. I might just have to drop it in the Scent Warriors group. You can also follow my Facebook page because, yeah, it's way too long. Shoot. Okay. We'll just delete part of it. Okay. And I'll finish day one here. The idea is not to share all these things, but to pick one thing and post it. But you'll see, I posted today, day one. I shared an example of an unpopular opinion. It had nothing to do with Scentsy. You are doing this for engagement. And then you're going to reply to everyone when they comment. The other thing that's important, and you've heard me say this over and over, is you want to make sure you are engaging on other people's posts before you post on social media. Just 10, 15 minutes. I mean, 20 is better, but 10, 15 is fine too. Okay. You will see a couple of these days are business related, but most of them are not. Okay. And I will also drop this in the Scent Warriors group. Day 2, 3. And this is just to get you started with some ideas. Now, if these don't resonate with you, that's fine. Just use them as a springboard to find something that does. But the whole point is you are not just selling to your followers because your followers don't want to be sold to. They don't trust you if all you do is talk about Scentsy, right? Then you're just selling to them. Okay. So that is something I think it's important. You want to make sure that you are adding value, educating, engaging, entertaining, however that resonates with you, right? Like my people would not think it was super funny if I entertained them every day because I'm not that funny, and they would not think that was authentic, right? They would be like, like that's fake. That's not you. Unless I told stories like, oh, these people in my downline added my mom to their Facebook group. If I shared that, that might be funny and people would be like, oh, that's good, right? But if I just tried to drop a meme or a joke every day, they'd be like, you're not even funny, Karen. Like, why are you trying to do that? Carol, that's what she does every single day. She drops something funny, right? And that's authentically her. All right. For years, many years, and I know we have a couple of you that did this many, many years ago, every single day I dropped a quote. And that was kind of my thing for probably 5 or 6 years. Every day I dropped a quote. And it was just something that resonated with me every day. All right. April, it was hilarious. It was funny. She was not upset or anything. She was like, you tell those girls they can add me to any chat they want in the future. They're really funny. I was like, oh, okay, Mom. Okay. A lot of you, when you're looking, I just want to pivot just for a couple minutes, and we are like at the 1 hour mark. So if this isn't relevant to you, it's okay. Many of you have said you're stagnant and stuck on how to gain customers or how to widen your social circle or how to meet new people, right? And you're stuck because you're trying to sell over and over to the same customers, or you tell me you're not getting an engagement on social media. I'm going to tell you a couple things. Number one, it takes a while to build a following. But if you're not getting results from what you're posting, you probably don't have the right people putting your eyes on things. You probably need to be adding more people, right? You need more followers. You need to be meeting more people. And you do that in an authentic and real way, not in a, oh, I'm going to join this group and then I'm just going to blast Scentsy, because that doesn't show up well for anyone. So don't do that. But you're going to think about things. So get a piece of paper. And if you need to widen your circle, I've done this with you guys before, but we're going to do it again. You're going to take a piece of paper and I want you to write a circle in the middle of it and put your name in it. Okay. All right. And then, like it's a sun, I want you to draw all sorts of little lines off of it. Okay. You guys see it? Okay. So you're in the center, and that's who you are. If you need to widen your social circle and you need to meet more people, you need to figure out how you can relate to people. And that is by connecting with people in things that are authentic to you. There's a few different ways you can do this. Okay. Number one. Yes. Okay. Do we want to take the picture first? Go ahead. If you want to take the picture, our group picture, go for it. Everyone get cute. Fix your hair. Okay. Let's all get cute. Okay. Are you taking it? Who's taking it? She's not even on my screen. Okay. Shan's taking it. Page 2. Okay. Perfect. All right. Okay. Now you've got your name in the middle and you've got a circle around it. You've got all these lines sticking out of it. These lines sticking out of it are things that are authentically you. Now, you can be super generic if you want. Don't write this down. I'm gonna tell you can do this, but I'm gonna tell you why it's a bad idea. You can write like mom, wife, friend, happy, things like that. But those are really hard to just find a relationship with, to find a way to connect, right? Now, mom, if you are a mom of twin toddlers, right? Mom of twin toddlers, that might be easy because you might be able to find twins groups in your community, or moms of toddler groups, MOPS, whatever. Okay. But if you just write mom, that's pretty generic. Like, this isn't just about, do not do this. Okay. And we've done this before, but it usually doesn't pan out right. Don't go to your social media and say, when you think of me, what 3 words do you think about? Because here's what people say: sweet, kind, generous, giving. Those don't help you with this exercise. Okay. So maybe mine, right? Mine might say mom of chronically ill kid, might be one of mine. Now, I like to actually, some people just write the words coming off of the little lines. I like to make little circles off of mine, but you can actually just write the words on this little line that's coming out if you want. Okay. But mine might say mom of chronically ill kid, because you know what? There's lots of groups I can connect, and that's authentic to me. I have a chronically ill child. One of my kids has had 17 brain surgeries. I can find a community that I can relate to on that. Right. Steve is a combat injured retired Marine. So I can add that in the line. That's authentic to me. There are groups and organizations that I can connect with in my community for spouses of combat injured military. There's all sorts of retired military organizations, right? There's like the VFW. There's all sorts of them, right? So that might be one of my boxes. Maybe this is facts. I love college basketball. I love college basketball, but I like my alma mater, Illinois, but they have a really sucky basketball team usually. Not last year, they were pretty good last year, but usually they have a sucky basketball team. But my son went to Duke, and Duke almost always has a killer basketball team, friends. And so you either love Duke or you hate Duke. There's no in between on that one. Um, but I could write, college Duke basketball. Okay. I can tell you that there are ways in my community that I connect with people who like Duke basketball. There's also groups for Duke basketball fans. Okay. So you are going to fill a whole bunch of lines on here with things that are you. I love plants. Emily and I are going to start a plant nonprofit, right? Because everyone needs plants in their life, right? So plant lover might be a square. Okay. I love to read books and personal development. That might be a square for me, right? I love to volunteer and give back to my community. That might be a square. If you love margaritas and tacos, those could be squares, right? Make them as specific as you can. Yes, Amy, you can say football coach's daughter. Yeah. The more specific, like we want to niche down on these. What does that mean? We want to get as specific as we can. Like if you have a dog, don't just say dog lover. Like I would be like, I'm a chocolate lab mom. Okay. Like, because we've had all labs, right? And yeah, I could find a dog lover community in my community and on social media, but I can easily find a lab lovers that like chocolate Labrador. Let me just clarify that. Like not like we're in a lab doing chemical stuff, right? I could easily find that. Yes, weight loss journey. Yes, right? Melanie can talk very authentically about how many people follow her weight loss journey and her steps, her exercise, right? When I was posting that we were walking every night, not just you all would call me out when I didn't, but I'd have other people message me and say, are you hurt? Are you okay? You haven't posted that you and Steve went walking tonight. Like it's been 3 nights. Did a bear eat you? We live in a really beautiful part of Colorado. We have elk in our neighborhood. The elk come down from Estes Park and Rocky Mountain National Park, and they winter in our neighborhood, about 1,000 of them. And so I've got one elk reel that has like hundreds of thousands of views on Instagram. And like I'm part of some Rocky Mountain National Park groups, Facebook groups. I'm also part of a women, because now I'm a hiker, you guys, because I'm a hiker now. I'm part of like a women who hike in Colorado Facebook group. It is like I can't remember what it's called, but it basically implies women who are out of shape that hike. It doesn't imply like women who are in really good shape who are like crazy hikers, right? I love travel. I love coffee. I love all of these different things. Each of those things gets a line or a square or a line or a circle, and my information is on them. So I would challenge you 10, 15, 20 things that make you you. And then the goal is this: how can you connect with others, or how can you share that authentically? So if you love cats, that would not be me because they're like little death fur balls to me. I'm so allergic to them. Okay. But I could probably find a group for like people who love cats but are deathly allergic to them. I bet there's a group for that probably. Right. But say you're a cat lover. So how could you use the fact that you're a cat lover to meet new people? Well, maybe there's a cat rescue in your community. Maybe there's a cat cafe in your community. We have cat cafes here. Luke loves cats. We can't have a cat. He goes to the cat cafe where he gets to love on cats, right? And drink coffee. But Steve or Lauren or someone has to go. Like I can't go hang with him there because it would kill me, right? So every circle on there, you're going to use that, or line on there that you've written something, you're going to use that. And then you're going to figure out 3 or 4 ways that you could connect with other people authentically to meet people related to that interest. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So you can also turn around and do the same exercise for fundraising. Say you want to do fundraisers, but you don't know where to start. You start over. It's a brand new sheet, and you put yourself in the middle, and then you start to think about who you know and what organizations you're passionate about. Like I remember when I did this with Vicky, and Vicky said, but I don't have kids and I don't know any kids in school. That's my paraphrase. Those probably weren't her exact words. I mean, she did say I don't have kids, but it was something like I don't really know. And I was like, well, who do you know that's a teacher? And she was like, oh, this neighbor of mine is a teacher. Great. So that neighbor probably has an in and knows what organizations in the school need fundraisers. On my circle, I would have my niece and my nephew on there. And then from that, I would have like lines out. Okay, my niece is involved in cheer and volleyball and National Honor Society, right? Do any of those organizations need a fundraiser? Right? My nephew is involved in this, right? So you're going to build this out and you're just going to keep spawning off of it to come up with organizations that you could authentically and in a really authentically reach out to in a way that you're passionate about, right? Okay. Yeah. Bingo. Like, okay. So, and here's some of you have heard me say these examples. We've moved a number of times. Okay. Like travel. I love to travel. Many people follow me for travel. When you travel, you can find a group like Miss Mary. When you cruise, do you find groups? Do you join the groups for the cruise? Okay. So each cruise has at least one group, sometimes two, and you can authentically connect with people. Now, you are not getting in there and spamming your Scentsy stuff. You are building authentic relationships. And as you connect with these people over time, they're going to follow you on social because you share your business on social. They're going to see what you do, and you are building your social circle. This takes time, friends, but this is how you authentically and worthwhile, you do it in a relevant, authentic way. Okay. You've heard me use the example. I love plants. We have plant shops in our community. The plant shops have classes. There's plant groups where you can get free plants and you can get free propagations and all the things we can learn about plants. Okay. The lady at my local plant shop, two of my local plant shops, I walk in, she's like, oh, hey, Karen, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Right. Like we have a relationship. I go to her classes. I meet other people who love plants. We follow each other on social media. Okay. Another example, like I love, personal development and learning. I love female entrepreneurship. I think it's important. When I moved here, I found there was a local boss. It's literally called this Boss Babes group. Okay. It was Boss Babes Book Club. It's a group for local women entrepreneurs, and they have a book club. I love to read. I love books, right? I've built some authentic relationships through that. So there are many, many ways to do it. Okay. Yeah, Becky, Dallas Cowboy haters, right? So, and are you a Dallas Cowboy hater or you're a lover? I feel like one of you loves it and one of you hates it. You love it. Okay.
I'm a Dallas fan.
Okay. So what you could do is you could join Dallas Cowboy fan groups, right? You could also, like, we're Chicago Bears fans. There is almost nowhere that we have lived in the past where there has not been a local hangout for Chicago Bear fans to watch the Chicago Bear games. Like, so that might be a community you want to be involved in. One of my kids, as I said, went to Duke. The Duke Alumni Association has chapters in all the different areas, and the parents hang out together and they have events. So there are so many, like if you were in a sorority, like my sorority has an alumni group, right? There's an opportunity to serve with some of the local chapters at some of the local universities. So many different ways. Yes. Example, Becky, infertility journey, weight loss, exercise journey, crafting enthusiast, book club, pet fosters, PTSD support groups, all the things. Yes. Do you guys get it? Are you understanding how you're going to find what you're passionate about? And then you have to use that to meet new people. You can meet new people online. but it only works in an online group if you actually communicate with people. If you just join a Facebook group and you don't ever comment in there or share, like, say I join an Nespresso group because I do love Nespresso coffee and there's a bunch of Nespresso groups. If I don't share some of my favorite Nespresso things in there, then I don't build any relationships with people. If I don't comment when people share things, I don't build any relationships. Now, if I go to a local coffee club in my community, obviously I'm face to face and I'm meeting people. I am not dropping my Scentsy catalogs in their faces, or I'm not even showing up in my Scentsy shirt like the first time, right? Like I'm just going to build real relationships. Okay. Yeah. Bingo. Bingo's good. Bunko's good. Hey, sourdough. Are you a sourdough starter lover? Great. There's groups for that. There's sourdough classes in your community. You can post in your free pages when you've got starter available and meet other people who love sourdough. There's so many different ways that you can meet new people, and that's what this business is about, meeting new people. Okay. All right. Who has questions about this? Anyone? So there's no reason you cannot meet new people this month. Okay. But if you don't get out there and you don't do this, you will not meet new people. There's even groups for anxiety, right? Or depression, or there's groups for, I mean, there's probably literally a group for everything, friends. Literally everything, right? There's groups for grief. Now, I'm not saying like you show up at a grief group if you don't have true grief, right? And I'm not saying you say, oh, let me show you our angel wings warmer. That is not how this works. But you show up in places that are authentic to you. All right. Last thing I want to do, if you do not have a accountability buddy for the month of October, we're calling them spooky squads because you're going to accomplish your spooky goals in October. If you do, yes, Jan, disabled people, absolutely. But you can even get more specific with the type of disability you have, right? I mean, you could find a group just for disabled people in your community, right? But you can get really specific. Okay. And then I have one more thing to tell you. If you do not have an accountability buddy and you want one in the month of October, drop your name in the chat. Drop in the chat, say drop the word accountability. You're all afraid to have an accountability buddy in the month of October. Okay. This is someone that you will connect with and check in with, and they will hold you accountable. Melanie, I feel like did we assign Melanie one last night? No.
I wasn't on last night. I saw that too late.
I know, but we did assign some people. Natasha wasn't on, right?
Natasha got off, but you gave her somebody.
That was me, right? Who did I give me to? Me.
Natasha.
And Noemi.
Noemi. Oh, Natasha and Noemi, right?
Melanie could be with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise, friends, did
Send
I
me a
tell April
message.
she was going to be mine? Did I tell you guys I was going to make April mine? Who did I say I was going to make mine? That's how tired I am. I didn't write it down. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording because nobody needs to hear this part.